Innovative
solutions. Can you imagine how much genius and focus it took to turn a music player into a handheld computer phone, GPS, remote control for everything in life in just 5 years? Seriously.
Innovative
Solutions.
The more you know, the less you fear.
Revolutionize business models and make old ones obsolete or not. One thing is for certain, today we compete on service, price or innovation, and the expectations and metrics around each are tighter than ever.
What's working, what's not, who's competent, who's not.
And that's all about how do you deal with failure.
Opened more stuff. That's what economists call growth.
Innovative
Solutions.
Prepared and presented by Francisco Porras Jr. Weekdays here on the Nation Station.
Innovative
Solutions.
12 projects has been awarded at this year's National Research Awards. You know, the awards honored research done by those who come up with ideas across a number of fields like healthcare, energy, the environment, computing, and many others. The 7th edition of the Annual Research Forum, organized by the Research and Innovation Sector of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, took place Monday, 18th January 2021, under the patronage of His Highness Saeed Ayazin bin Haytham bin Tariq Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports, and Youth. Today on Innovative Solutions, it's an honor to have with us one of the winners of this year's event, the winner for Health and Social Service field, Dr. MAHA Al-RIYAMI. Doc, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Frank. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor, and I'm humbled that our team received the National Research Awards 2020. It's a great honor, yeah.
Okay, tell us about yourself. Talk to us about your research, too, later on. So you've been doing this research for quite a long time now.
Yes, I'm actually very passionate about research. It's very exciting and rewarding, although it can be tough and challenging sometimes. Mm-hmm. But there is a joy in looking at the same thing that everybody else is looking at, but trying to understand it differently or explain or understand why it is the way it is. There is joy in doing research, so it's my passion.
So tell us about yourself.
All right, so I did my undergrad at Sultan Qaboos University in College of Science in biotechnology, and I did my master's in Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, Canada. And for my PhD, I did my PhD in McGill University in experimental medicine. Under the supervision of Professor Konstantin Polychronakos, who is one of the pioneers and one of the greatest scientists in the field.
This is really mind-blowing. Right? That's why this is the research you have. So what kept you busy in your line of work these days? So
I'm, as an academic at Sultan Qaboos University, I'm involved in teaching at the College of Medicine. So I teach courses like biochemistry for biochemistry for nursing, and genetics and molecular for medicine. So I'm involved in teaching, and I'm also finishing my research work, that's continuing some of the studies and hopefully starting a new project.
Okay. So in your 2019 study, you seem to have focused on autoimmunity. Can you elaborate further on this one?
Right. So autoimmune diseases are basically conditions in which the immune system mistakenly attacks the body. So the normal job of the immune system is to guard the body and protect it against germs like bacteria and viruses. Okay. But in autoimmune diseases, what happens is that the immune system starts attacking the self-cells or the self-antigens. We call them antigens. So this is what causes these conditions. For example, in type 1 diabetes, which was the focus of my study, what happens here is that the immune cells attack the pancreatic cells that are responsible for the production of insulin. And this results in the conditions of type 1 diabetes. Yeah, and it's a complex disease. So autoimmunity in general are complex diseases in which they have genetics and environmental triggers that cause them.
There's a lot of tests going on around here, right?
We don't understand the reasons behind them. Like, we don't fully understand what causes these diseases.
T-cell activation in vitro work adequately by just using PBMCs or something?
What we did in the human part of the study is that we isolated the PBMCs from human patients with type 1 diabetes, and we activated them with insulin to get these cells in larger numbers and study their genomes. what we know about type 1 diabetes is that it is caused by genetic causes. So there is a genetic background that allows these cells to mistakenly attack the cells. Also, there are some environmental triggers. But the problem is that we don't really understand what are these environmental triggers. These studies are still contradicting each other. And what we did in the study is that we studied a new hypothesis or a new phenomenon, which is finding mutations in these lymphocytes that could be what's allowing them to attack these cells. And we are the first group to describe this in type 1 diabetes. So this could be perhaps the missing piece that could explain type 1 diabetes, and not only type 1 diabetes, but all autoimmune diseases.
So what's the overall significance and implication of your study here?
So the first thing is that it could be an explanation for all autoimmune diseases, as I already said. And it offers, it can decrypt and allow us to understand autoimmunity better, which allows us to find new treatments as well. Also, it opens new avenues for future treatments like individualized medicines by targeting these cells specifically that have these mutations. Yeah.
So where are you now in your studies and research?
So we finished with the first paper, which is studying this hypothesis in mice, which is a model organism for studying type 1 diabetes, because these mice develop the same disease as the human and have a lot of similarities. In the second part of the study, we are trying to study this hypothesis also in humans, and we already started with that. We're finishing up the last few experiments before publishing the study. Also, we want to study this in another autoimmune diseases. So another example of autoimmunity, which is celiac. And we also started in that. So this is my focus right now, but also I'm trying to work in other projects as well, related to autoimmunity or other diseases.
Yeah, what kind of projects that you're working on at the moment?
So other than the human work for type 1 diabetes and celiac study, we're trying to, now we found these mutations in these samples. Now we want to understand how these mutations are allowing these cells to do what they're doing, which is attacking self-antigens. So we want to do, I want to do functional studies in which allows me to understand how these mutations are affecting these cells, making them attacking self-antigens.
What are your challenges when it comes to dealing with those autoimmune diseases?
The challenges are we don't really understand them well. We don't understand their causes. So if we don't understand what causes them, it's really hard to find treatments for them. So that's the biggest challenge. The other challenge is that in many of these diseases, we don't know the antigen or what's exactly being attacked by these cells. So we see the symptoms, but we don't know exactly what these cells are attacking to cause these symptoms. So these are the main two challenges, in my opinion. And unless we understand the causes, we cannot really find the solution or find the treatment.
Do you think that we could prevent type 1 diabetes with your research?
I think prevention is a possibility at the future by understanding the causes exactly, especially the environmental triggers. If we understand these better, then yes, maybe at one point it can be prevented. But then you cannot really 100% prevent it because it has a genetic background. It's caused by some genetic causes, and this you cannot really control. Also, as the hypothesis says, that these are random mutations that happen spontaneously, and that's also something that you cannot really control. There is no really a direct way to prevent it. There is no way to prevent it because of the randomness of the mutations that can cause them.
What future directions are you looking at right now for your research?
Finish the study in type 1 diabetes, especially the humans, doing the functional studies, and also to apply the study on all other autoimmune diseases to confirm it.
The group that also involved in this research?
Yes, so in this this paper, we were a group of 6 under the supervision of Professor Konstantin Polikronakis, who is a big scientist in the field. It's a group work. It's a team. It's not a one person's job for sure.
So you're also involving mice here when it comes to your research.
No, so what's special about these mice is that they develop the disease spontaneously. without any interfering from us. So they developed this disease that it has a lot of similarities to the human type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
And it makes it a perfect model organism to study the disease. And it has a lot of similarities when it comes to the genetic background and to the human type 1 diabetes. So it's perfect to study the disease. So we started with studying the hypothesis in the mice. So we isolated the lymphocytes from these mice, from pancreas of these mice, and we looked for the existence of these mutations, or specifically known as somatic mutations. And we were able to find them, which supports our hypothesis.
Wow. Well, Dr. RIYAMI, do you have any plans of, having some kind of a forum or maybe a workshop or, a webinar in maybe another event coming up for you?
Actually, I'm presenting this paper in an autoimmunity conference that was supposed to be in Greece, but recently it shifted to be an online conference. So that's what's coming.
So when is this actually, Doc? When is it going to be happening? Maybe some interested people are going to, take part in this conference that you're talking about.
It's going to be in May. It was supposed to be last May 2020, but now it's going to be in May 2021, and it will be a virtual meeting.
Overall, can you tell us the summary of your research? And
the summary of this research is that we provided evidence that there are somatic mutations or these random mutations that are happening in these cells, specifically the immune cells that are attacking the pancreas, causing type 1 diabetes. Ooh. So this could be the missing piece in the autoimmunity puzzle. This could be the one thing that is, in addition to the genetic background and the environmental triggers, what's causing, but will at the end cause the autoimmunity.
Dr. RIYAMI's research have proposed a new therapy for the treatment of diabetes with a proof of concept study showing positive initial results. So effective therapy may mean that people can stop taking insulin and treatment in the future. The National Research Award has demonstrated once again the importance of raising the standard of research, innovation, and development in the Sultanate of Oman, and as it aims to encourage researchers to conduct high-quality and relevant research in areas of national interest and to reach goals and meet the criteria of Oman Vision 2040. Thank you very much, Doc, for being here. It's a privilege, an honor, and congratulations. Any final words before we wrap things up?
Thank you so much for having me, Frank. It was great talking to you.
So all the best and more success in your work. And I hope that you will go places in the near future. That's the winner of the Health Social Service field, Dr. MAHA RIYAMI. My name is Frank. Thanks for listening. We're going
To turn a music player into a handheld computer phone, GPS remote control for everything in life in just 5 years? Seriously.
Innovative.
Solutions.
The more you know, the less you fear.
Revolutionize business models and make old ones obsolete or not. One thing is for certain, today we compete on service, price or innovation, and the expectations and metrics around each are tighter than ever.
What's working, what's not, who's competent, who's not.
And that's all about how do you deal with failure.
Open more stuff. That's what economists call growth.
Innovative.
Solutions.
Prepared and presented by Francisco Porras Jr. Weekdays here on the Nation Station.
Innovative.
Solutions.